This has been my go-to iPad for almost 6 years, the 11-inch A12X iPad Pro, but I recently upgraded to the M4 model and I have no regrets. It has a better display, faster chip, and some quality of life improvements. So if you're thinking about upgrading, here's everything you need to know. Okay, at first glance, both iPad Pros look very similar, but Apple added some minor changes that make this design even better. The most noticeable one is the new space black color, which replaced the older space gray. And I'm not gonna lie, it did tempt me to upgrade my space gray M1 Pro MacBook Pro, but this machine is still going strong. The text along the bottom now says iPad Pro instead of iPad, but this started with the M2 models. Apple also upgraded or downgraded the camera and camera bump, but I'll get to that later. Now, onto the smaller changes that actually make a big difference. Compared to the 2018 iPad Pro, the 2024 model is slightly taller and narrower, but we're talking millimeters here. But the weight and thickness are things you need to experience in person. The new iPad Pro weighs 444 grams, which is 24 grams lighter than my old iPad Pro. In addition to its reduced weight, the new M4 iPad Pro was also named Apple's thinnest product ever. The 11-inch model is only 5.3 millimeters thin, or just 0.6 millimeters thinner than my previous one. And the 13-inch model is even thinner at 5.1 millimeters. These are small changes, but after going back to the 2018 iPad Pro, it feels thick and heavy. And let me get my trusty magnet paper so you can see the new magnet arrangement. Also, the speakers don't have as much bass as the old one. They still sound good though. If you're interested in my full review on the M4 iPad Pro, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Alright, let's talk about the display. Just by looking at the screen, you can probably tell that the M4 iPad Pro is better, and that's because it has the new Ultra Retina XDR, which is the world's most advanced display. Compared to the older Liquid Retina LED display, the new iPad Pro now uses tandem OLED technology, meaning two OLED panels are placed on top of each other so the light from both panels provides super high brightness. SDR can reach up to 1000 nits compared to 600 nits, and HDR content has a peak brightness of 1600 nits. This is a big improvement because the colors of every photo and video will appear vivid and brighter. There's also more detail in shadows and low light since the individual pixels can be turned off for true blacks. And something new to the iPad Pro is an option for a nano texture display, which is only available on the 1 and 2 terabyte models. This helps minimize reflections from ambient light sources like sunlight or indoor lighting. I haven't seen it, but if it's like a paper-like screen protector, then I'm guessing colors would be a little bit muted and blacks will appear a little bit more gray. Everything else is the same like ProMotion, fully laminated, and P3 wide color. And very minor, but the M4 iPad Pro has 32 more horizontal pixels with a resolution of 2420 by 1668 versus 2388 by 1668. And the corner radii is slightly more rounded, which closely matches the bezels. So let's talk about its performance. Both iPad Pros can handle everyday things perfectly, browsing the web, replying to emails, watching videos, you name it. But when it comes to intensive activities like video or photo editing and heavy gaming, the M4 is noticeably faster than the A12X. If you go with a 256 or 512 gig model, they'll have a bin version of the M4 chip with 3 performance cores as well as 8 gigs of RAM. But if you opt for a 1 or 2 terabyte model, there'll be an extra performance core with 16 gigs of RAM. Looking at the two on paper, it might not seem like a big jump, 9 CPU cores versus 8, 10 GPU cores versus 7, and 8 gigs of RAM versus 4. But take a look at these Geekbench scores. It's almost 3 times as fast in single core and multi-core. There's also a new 16-core neural engine and hardware-accelerated ray tracing. And with the M series chip, the iPad Pro has real external display support with Stage Manager. Other nice upgrades are Thunderbolt USB 4 speeds, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, and 5G. The battery is slightly bigger at 8160 mAh compared to 7812. But both devices are rated for an estimated 10 hours of battery life, which hasn't improved since the original iPad. I can't say which battery lasts longer though, as the A12X iPad Pro is almost 6 years old. For you video editors, the M4 iPad Pro has several media engines to enhance your workflows, like 8K and ProRes. And storage now starts at 256 gigs instead of 64 back in 2018. Moving on to the cameras. The M4 iPad Pro features a 12 megapixel wide with an f1.8 aperture, the same as the A12X model. Apple did add a 10 megapixel ultra wide in the previous iPad Pros, but they removed it this year. The camera bump now houses a wide camera, LiDAR scanner, adaptive true tone flash, ambient light sensor, and a mic. This is a step up compared to the single camera bump with a flash and mic. I don't take photos or videos on an iPad, but they're supposed to look better with smart HDR4, 4K 60, and ProRes video. Unlike the previous iPad Pros, there's a front 12 megapixel landscape camera with center stage. The M4 iPad Pro has 4 studio quality microphones compared to the 5 regular microphones in the A12X model. Also, thanks to the M4 chip, the new iPad Pro is really good with AI. For the first time, it can automatically recognize documents in the camera app. And if there's a shadow, the iPad Pro will take several photos with the adaptive flash and combine them to create a much better scan. Another thing to consider are the accessories that work well with the iPad Pro. The Apple Pencil, which remained the same since the original, has some cool new features. The new Apple Pencil Pro includes a new sensor that can detect the user's squeeze, bringing up a tool palette to quickly switch tools, line weights, and colors without interrupting your workflow. The pencil also has a haptic engine, so you receive a nice confirmation when you squeeze or double tap. There's a new barrel roll feature that allows you to rotate and change the orientation of the pen and brush tools. And starting with the M2 models, Apple Pencil Hover can let you preview the orientation of a tool and shadow before making a mark. And the last new feature is Find My Support, which allows you to locate the pencil just in case it rolls off somewhere. Also, new text on the side, Apple Pencil Pro. Now, let's turn our attention to the Magic Keyboard. The biggest improvement from the 2018 model is that the inside has an aluminum palm rest. It feels quite premium compared to the silicone material. The outside is still the same, but I have a dbrand skin on mine. There's also a slightly taller glass trackpad on the 11-inch model, making it more responsive with haptic feedback. The keyboard is the same, but now includes a function row to access brightness, media playback, volume controls, and more. The exposed USB-C hinge is a flat oval shape, and it supports up to 40 watts of pass-through charging instead of 20. The new Magic Keyboard weighs 604 grams versus 630, and if you have everything, iPad, pencil, and keyboard, it'll weigh about 2.36 pounds for the new model and 2.46 pounds for the old one. It's quite clear that the new M4 iPad Pro has some cool new features, but I don't think it's worth the upgrade if you're not using it professionally. I mean, if all you do on your iPad is browse the web and watch videos, then it's best to stick with the old version. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!